Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Review with Heather's Passion Academy. And I am Heather of Heather's Passion Academy. And today we are reviewing Family Empire, Season 1, Episode 4. And the title of this one is Kara Meltdown. Like I told y'all, I think they be struggling with the names of these episodes because this is not I was expecting a meltdown. It did not happen, not from Karamell. So I don't know what they need to do, but they need to really think about it's one of those, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing. Anyway, we're gonna pick up from the last show, which was the ladies were all at the club. They were supporting Jermeshia's husband, Justin. I'm glad I remember his name because I'd be having trouble remembering his name. But they were there, but not only were they there supporting him with his show, he's a singer. But they were having some conversations between Karamell and Keisha regarding what had happened when Keisha's mama died, and the reason why I don't nobody really care for Karamell is pretty much what happened. And so we're picking up from there. And as you see, everybody was given a name and a title that has to do with the foolishness that happened. So of course we have Nicole, the pot stirrer, that was there. Keisha is in the hot seat. Karamell is in the hotter seat. Nikki was the instigator. Monay be trying to stay out of it. Jermeshia is the busybody, and JaQuita is the detective. So now all these gonna come into play during this episode. So we're back at the lounge, um, waiting on the performance to start. And so Keisha said, she's just trying to explain what happened in that situation when they were all like, this is the thing that happened. Uh, yeah. Nikki, so the person that's the problem, or the person that started it all, is Nikki. Nikki actually called the ex and let them know that Keisha's mom passed away. So it'd be a good idea to reach out. So that was what the beginning of the problem was. So with that happening, the phone rings, right? And Nikki, was first of all, Nikki's like, well, my intentions were not to, do whatever, blah blah blah. So anyway, the phone rings and Karamell sees the ex's number pop up, and that's when all of the stuff happened because she said she set a boundary, and Keisha basically didn't respect her boundary. That's what had happened. That's what they say had happened. So JaQuita was like, so here's the problem. We still feel like the timing was wrong. Like, if she out there being a hoe, whatever, that's her business, basically. Keisha looked at her like, I'm sorry, what? you call me a who? Uh, JaQuita don't need to drink no more in public. She just don't need to drink. They were telling her that it just wasn't the right time, that she should address it later. And that was the biggest problem because child, JaQuita called her the 304. But anyway, as they were saying, Nicole was saying it doesn't matter what was going on. That just wasn't the time for you. So when we saw that was what was going on, it left a bad taste in our mouth. So they're talking about the situation that happened. Jermeshia said she heard them arguing, and she heard Keisha defending herself, and she was just trying to check on her cousin. Nicole said she don't care if she found out her husband was cheating. You gonna table all that when you got something else going on. So, you got all of them going back and forth here. They just, arguing, and they like, listen, this is what happened. This is what we didn't understand. Everybody's trying to tell their side of Polar Justin, like, well, y'all know we here for a show, right? He said, help. So when they decided to table everything for the performance, but here's what's funny. They was like, "Woo, performance." So he over here performing and stuff. Look at Nicole. They ain't even paying attention. They not even. They not paying attention. They ain't engaged in this thing at all. Not at all. Anyway, so as they have a bit of a break, JaQuita comes back and asks Caramel, how does she really feel about the information that he just gave her? And then she was like, we just, everybody kept saying we just felt it was wrong since Keisha mama died. Keisha mama died, blah blah blah, and Keisha mama died, and all this happened when Keisha mama died, and both of them were just kind of over it at that point, right? And so she gets up to leave because she don't want to talk no more about hearing about her mama died because that's triggering. And so Nikki was like, well, y'all always up and leave because they was like out of there, right? And she was like, y'all always leave because you sensitive. And she was like, yeah, I am sensitive because y'all keep talking about my mama's death. Like, I mean, to me, that's understandable. Nikki was just like all over the place. And I'm like, y'all leave that girl alone. Polar Justin just mad. He over here mad somewhere. So they all start talking again. The sisters, after everybody left, after those two left, Karamell and Keisha left, uh, Monay and Nicole was just saying, I understand why she needs to leave because, her mom just died. JaQuita was like, well, why don't we just start over fresh and we don't just talk about it no more? I just wish you hadn't brought it up. Nicole was like, well, I was trying to open a door, not close one. And, she was saying, well, you ain't do nothing. Nikki said, you ain't do nothing wrong. You ain't do nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong either. I'm like, Nikki, you kind of did because you would want to reach out to the ex. So did you need to reach out to her ex? I get the sentiment behind it because people always say, well, that wasn't my intention to mess anything up. But you got to think about impact versus, the intent, but the impact. So the impact is you get her falling out with somebody. It's a lot going on. And of course, you didn't have anything to do with that. But at the same time, it could have been avoided had you asked her, would you like for me to reach out or whatever? And also, Karamell needed to do something. Karamell need to calm down. She just need to calm down when it comes to that type of stuff. Because when people, parents and stuff pass away, folks reach out. Anyway, so while they were talking about I ain't do nothing wrong, Chris comes and try to tell them, look, y'all family, uh, I don't want y'all to be all upset. Think about what Pawpaw would do. And child, why he say that? Because then Nikki goes into this crying fit and she just they looking over there like, child, what is going on with her? Justin over there just done lost it. Cause what are y'all doing? She crying, Justin looking like, I mean, we had something going on. Nicole over here, like, when you gonna finish with this theatrics that you got going on, child? They was just done. The night was over. The night was over. So the next morning, I guess, or sometime after that, Nicole's on the phone with Jermeshia, just kind of checking in basically about the performance. Jermeshia was like, child, Justin was not happy with none of us. So, in his defense, though, it ended up not being about him and more about them. So they're going to have to reel that in. I know that those guys are used to it, but at some point, you got to put all that stuff aside and be there for the person that you're there to support. You got to be there, like you're physically there, but you actually be there. So hopefully they're gonna change that about themselves. Um, so she goes to check in. Um, so the thing that they're talking about is they're gonna check in with Keisha to see how she's doing. Jermeshia says she was fine. She just didn't want to continue to talk about her mom, and it's fair. She was obviously triggered. That's what Jermeshia was saying, and that would be triggering for anyone. Nicole says she just wants some closure, but they always get to a point where someone walks away and they never finishes a conversation. And it's probably because you guys need a third party, because resolving stuff on your own just doesn't work. You have to have someone that's not family, that's not going to be emotional about it, that'll be able to help you get through those difficult conversations so that you can, number one, stay on task, and number two, so that your emotions won't get so far gone that everybody leaves. So I think that's what everybody needs to do. Anyway, she's pulling up to JaQuita's place, to talk to Chris about this contract. I'm tired of hearing about the contract personally, and we only 4 episodes into this thing. She's there to talk about that, but also some other things. So she and JaQuita sit down and they have a little conversation about what happened between Keisha and all them. And they talk about Nikki being upset because uh it looks like she the one that got everything started, but they keep saying it's not from a bad place. Uh, my thing is I think a well-placed apology to Keisha would help things, not just from Nikki, but everyone, and also Karamell, because in the time that she needed everyone to put everything aside, everything became about everything else except Keisha and her mom passing away. So everybody needs to apologize. They just need to. So Nicole, again says she was just trying to open the door, learn more about Karamell because they don't know that much about her. And Jaquita want to know if that's her real name or her stripper name. Cause hmm, I'm like, Jaquita, I need you to have a filter. She said that was her stripper name, but she's no longer going to uh have that for it. So she's gonna get herself a new name. So anyway, Chris comes in because Nicole ain't finna waste too much time chit chatting. She finna come on in and do what she got to do. So he comes in, they get down to business so they can go over the contract. Child, it was so much going on in that contract. It had their head spinning. She wants him to come in as a full media manager instead of just a content creator. All these things like 5 pieces of work. She need a litany of other items that she wants him to produce for the company. She wants him to wants to keep him at his current salary. Um, even though the roles and responsibilities are way more than he had been previously doing. I don't know what he did at first or how much he was getting paid, but from that list, it sounds like it's a way different list from what he had at first. But I do know one thing. I think a lot of folks think that content creation and social media management is easy, and but it can be a lot when you add other tasks on top of it. I think that you need more than one person to do half the stuff that she's talking about. But I guess she's trying to get her money worth. But if he's going to do producing videos and social media content, that's one thing. Somebody else managing the social media accounts, like doing daily posts and stuff, that's got to be somebody else doing, because you got to have time to, especially the different, sometimes, like a 30-second video may take you all day to record. And then it takes half the day to edit to get the snippets of what you need. So I think that they both have valid points. Maybe he's not doing everything that he needs to do at this point, but at the same time, adding more responsibility may not be the way to go. But it's not my business. No. He said this is not gonna work at the current salary. So she said, come back with the counter. But this salary is on par with other companies. And, he had a good deal before and he won the contract. So here it is. But yeah, it's a lot going on. But I feel like if he goes into the office full time, he won't have time for his little business that he's doing. JaQuita was looking crazy because she be trying to stay out of it, but sometimes you just can't stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? She don't want him to make any kind of crazy decisions before looking over everything. But we know her main concern is getting that bottom line together. So we're gonna see how that work for them. So Nikki and Jermeshia are over in the office and they recap the situation at Justin's performance. I don't know if there's anything to recap. Um, she says that, she just gotta ask them, um, she just gotta tell them what's up. Jermeshia has to tell them all what's up because, it was a little bit of embarrassment what happened. Um, Nikki said Keisha reached out to her um after the performance. That's interesting. They reached out to her. And so now she feels a little better about everything that happened because I guess she was feeling a little guilty. Now she could have just reached out and said, I'm sorry. But whatever. Anyway, she wants so Jermeshia was like, you were being a little dramatic. And Nikki said, well, it run in the family. So Jermeshia talks to Nikki about wanting to get Cheryl and Charlotte on board. What she's going to do is just kind of pick them up since one of them has knee surgery, and she figured that time while they're sitting in the car, they can kind of talk about everything that's going on. Um, but Nikki lets her know that, you're the best person to do the presentation because you're the oldest and you have everybody's trust. And Jermeshia's happy to hear that. I do think that Jermeshia's pretty straightforward. I think her level of passion is what sells. And I know that everybody calls Nicole Oscarine Jr. because Nicole is a little bit more cutthroat, no nonsense. So she don't really want to play around and be friends and stuff with folks. She just want to get to business. Sometimes you need a little bit of both. And I think that's why they do good working together, because they can balance each other. So JaQuita, Keisha, and Monay end up going to work out together. JaQuita want to know who picked this activity because she don't be working out. Before they start, she already started naming off all the ailments she has. Monay comes in excited to spend time with the ladies. JaQuita talking about she needs to lose her vajamic. I'm like, ma'am, no, ma'am. Again, filter. But at the same time, she only want to eat. And then Keisha walk in with a bunch of donuts. They just all over the place. I don't know what to do with them. They got all this stuff going on. I don't think nobody's serious about working out but Monay. She was like the other two right there. I don't even know what we doing. So they're out there, they're exercising and complaining and working out and complaining and complaining some more. And then they sit down. And as soon as they sit down to rest and have a seat, JaQuita tells the trainer, Monay single. Y'all just got to stay in each other business. It's just funny. So they check in with Keisha to see how she's doing. She said she had to leave for peace of mind. JaQuita said that she and Monet just wanted to talk to her alone because, a lot of times, well, they're closer. And then a lot of times she tends to shut down when the entire family is there. And if you're from a big family, a lot of people think that when you have a large family that you're naturally extroverted and you want to share everything and talk to everybody. But some people just private. And even having all those eyes on you and all those people asking a bunch of questions can sometimes just be too much. I'm from a large family, and there are times where I have to just go dark and not talk to anybody because it's a lot. It's a lot of personalities you're dealing with all the time. So I can see how she doesn't necessarily want to share all the time. So, Keisha just said, y'all messed my night up. I couldn't get none. And so they want to know what's up with Nikki getting upset and crying. They were telling her how she was acting and everything. They didn't know whether she was playing or not. But Monet wanted to let her, wanted to see if Nicole and Keisha are still going to therapy. Keisha said that's one of the plans. She plans to go. She ain't never been before. She's nervous, but she's ready and she's willing to be open. So I'm really hoping that situation helps them out as far as getting their relationship on the right track. Now over here, nope, over here at the office, Nicole and Jermeshia talk about the contract that they have with Chris. Because again, this is becoming an issue. I'm blurry right there, but anyway. So they try to reach out to so Jermeshia and Quita felt like the compensation um Jermeshia said, Quita, I don't know why. I'm looking at it. I'm reading it. Yeah, I write this stuff out so I don't be just going off the top of my head. But every once in a while, my brain says no, thank you. Anyway, Jermeshia said Quita felt as though the compensation was low considering everything they want him to do. Then they said that, he wanted creative control. He got it. I'm curious still. I want to know how much he getting paid because I promise you I can do half the stuff that they want him to do right from here. And I'm in Memphis. I bet you I can do it. Anyway, they said he hasn't done what he was supposed to do with the current role, and they're just kind of getting impatient with him. So they try to reach out and call him, and he is sending them to voicemail, honey. Just because no, Jermeshia is not comfortable with saying let's move past this. Because Nicole is like, what's our plan B, because he ain't gonna be playing in my face. Jermeshia is just like, I don't know about moving on because you gotta I gotta consider this my sister's household and I don't want to be taking money from her household. But I guess Chris better get right or he gonna get left. We don't know. So they turned the decision, the discussion. I'm telling y'all, I'm reading and it's just doing what it wants to do. They turned the discussion to making a campaign for their luxury division. Nicole wants to make sure that their company, since it's black owned, woman owned, everything's synonymous, is synonymous with the luxury brand. In other words, she said she doesn't see any other black owned companies in Houston that are geared toward the luxury brand. And so she wants to be able to market to that. Because, yes, a lot of times you look at black businesses and everything, and they try to push black businesses toward like the more affordable homes, lower income. And she wants them to be more than that. She wants to be the go to company for luxury brands. And so they were talking about getting more agents that are well connected. She just closed on this $1.4 million house. That was the list price. It sold at 1.3. You have all these ladies that are in the office that can do it. She wants Monay because Monay has the highest sales so far in their business, so she wants to bring her on the luxury side. um and so she's noticing that the average home buyers that want luxury homes are also younger than 40. So, and that's because of social media and all other ways of earning money, and these people becoming pretty much instant millionaires. And she wants to be able to appeal to them through social media. So she gives Chris accolades for that, but she needs him to do more. They both agree that he's not doing as much as he could be doing for them. So, yeah, that's the problem. That is the problem. So it's JaQuita's and Chris's anniversary, and she ended up planning their anniversary activities without his input, and she's not happy about that. And she's showing she had to do a lot of last minute stuff 2 days ago because he just wasn't um participating in her planning things. And that's just a problem for her. So then he's running late and she's got to start without him. And they're supposed to have a dance lesson and a private chef cooking for them. Now, Chris, I'm trying to give you support. I'm trying, but I see that the sister cousins might be right. You ain't got no motivations. You're not initiating nothing. Your wife is having problems with you just being present in the marriage. They having problems you being present in the business. So what is you doing? Get it together. Jaquita said if it was up to him, they'd be at home for their anniversary. So while he's taking his time showing up, she gets with this is the Zydeco um trainer instructor. Okay, see, bullet points ain't working no more. Anyway, so she's working and doing her part and learning how to do Zydeco and dance a little bit. Then he finally shows up while they're dancing. And the whole time you can tell that leadership ain't his ministry when it comes to a lot of things, especially dancing. And it's okay. She tries to let him lead, but it's not working. And she was saying this is indicative of the relationship they have because she don't really necessarily know that he could lead. I thought it was funny when he got up to her and the instructor switched off and told him to hold your wife. He said, well, I was trying to make sure I was being appropriate. I'm like, that's between you and your wife whether or not y'all being appropriate. You don't need his permission. And he's like, man, that's your wife. That's that's between y'all. um so they're trying to get on the same page when it comes to dancing. It ain't really working. He just kind of all over the place. They, look like they got two left foot. Look at her face. She not really sure what's going on. And so when they get finished, the instructor says, let him lead at all costs like he does at home. And I'm just thinking to myself, now I don't think that really happens. So it looks like she always has to take the lead to think for things to happen. So I don't know. Mhm. Anyway, by the time they finish, the food is ready. They get to eat and talk about the 6 years of marriage that they've had. They have plenty going on, um, because at the beginning of their marriage, it started with having a baby, switching careers, but at this point, she feels like they're stagnant. She wants a house, she wants another child, and there are goals they need to meet. Now, he says he wants to sit down and talk goals with her, and and do those things, but he just need her to tell him what to do. And I'm like, no, you need to put out your goals so that y'all can put them together and make them work as a team, not her give you a directive and then you just do it. What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your family? What do you see your future? Why does she always have to come up with all the ideas? Ain't nobody got time for that. So she was saying she met him when he was working at like the oil and gas company, but then he was let go. And then she feels like that made him lose some of his drive. And then his career in entrepreneurship is new. He's still trying to figure that out. She wants him to step up, but at the same time, you know, if you're not inwardly motivated, nobody else can do it. So somebody can want, you can want a lot for everybody, but if that person don't want it for themselves, they're not gonna do it. So they talk about working at the brokerage, and she wants to know what he's going to be doing as far as that's concerned. He going to stay, uh then stay, if not, he gonna need a backup plan. He don't really know. He said he probably figured out the day of or something like that. I think that makes her nervous. He said he didn't want her carrying all the load. She's like, I have before. She wants him to lead. She keeps giving him the leeway to lead, but I think a lot of times he just defaults to doing what's comfortable. He knows that she's kind of got fail safe plans. Um, so that and so he just kind of leans on that, and I think that's to his detriment because he gets a little, I feel like, I don't know these people, I feel like he just gets comfortable. So anyway, the ladies over here at the business finally got a reply from Chris, who is ready to discuss the contract. Jermeshia wants to remind Nicole that you got to be delicate when you're dealing with family. Nicole like, yeah, okay, whatever. So in walks Chris with his counsel, JaQuita, and she says she needs to make sure everything goes right with this thing. Jermeshia's like, okay, attorney. Nicole don't look too happy about that. I'm just being honest. She looked very annoyed with the fact that, he's in there with her. When they get down to the contract, Chris says, I'm not signing this, but I have a contract for y'all to look over. And that's where we end this thing. And it's to be continued, child. I don't know what's going on. I just tell you what, this is the last of the first 4 episodes. So we won't see a new episode of the show until August 16th. So that gives us time to go back through, kind of look through the episodes and see how we feel about them. But I want to know how you guys are enjoying this show so far. I just know that I'm really actually excited to see these people working in their elements and properties being sold. They're discussing developing and stuff. So we're actually seeing the business. I know there was another show that was Atlanta based one time. It was about real estate and everything, but we never really actually got to see anything going on because they were so busy always having drama and stuff. So so far this show has proven that they can do both. So I'm really excited, and I just want to know what you guys think. So please let me know in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, and I'd be honored if you would support my channel by liking, subscribing, sharing, and hitting the notification bell sharing this review, and then hit that notification bell for future episodes. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.